a big, strong dude, that's for sure. And you want
more than 200.
Yeah, you want to see rockets come off on the serve. He will serve a lot of aces today, is my prediction.
Again, seats quickly, please.
6-4, I think, is about the thing. I was originally told when he came on the scene by putting out Mats Wilander in the first round of Wimbledon a few years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Everyone was saying 6-6, and then I stood up alongside him, and he only looked about 6-4. I was only looking up a little way.
Yeah. Zivo's taking a little extra time waiting to start this match. People to get settled. McEnroe to serve.
First service.
One of the things you want to watch for in McEnroe here is he stands over this side. We get back on the court. You'll see he stands well away from the center stripe. And it makes it difficult to tell where he's going to serve for the returner serve.
Love 15.
McEnroe, 28 years of age, 5'11", listed at 165.
I believe the score, the only time they played it was 6-love in the fifth, wasn't it?
In Australia, right?
In the Australian, but, you know, that wasn't really a fair result for John because he was ready to lose in the round before against Henry LeConte.
When you mean ready to lose, what does that mean?
He was down 2-1. He looked like he was
heading for the airport, huh?
Yeah, he'd had enough. He was ready to take a break.
After, there are some that feel that the loss to Zivojinovic in the Australian was really the reason John thought he could take a rest, though he did lose in the Masters with Madison Square Garden.
He arrived down in Australia for that championship and for the Australian Open, and he had a brush with some photographers in the hotel lobby, and it was just apparent that he'd had enough, you know, and it was necessary for him to just get away from the sport and all the notoriety that was going with it.
15-30.
30 all.
Looks like a little diamond in the left earlobe.
No headband. Looks different. Father-to-be sometime next week.
Break point.
30-40.
Yeah, I wonder what the story is on the headband. He the other day he was practicing. He had a huge headband on.
Just doesn't look like him without a headband, does it?
This is what John does not want to have happen, is lose his first serve of the match.
Deuce.
This is the quarter of the draw that has McEnroe in it.
Had to be quick to see that one.
Fast quarter.
You know, the other night against Richie Renneberg, McEnroe lost his opening 2 service games. He was down 3-love and 2 breaks in the first set. So he hasn't been starting off quickly in his matches.
Advantage of Zivojinovic.
And again, break point for Bobo.
The other thing I didn't think he did that well the other night was return serve in that match. A lot of his returns lacked power and they were a little high over the net.
I don't think John does any portion of the game as well now as he did before he took his time off.
Will that come back? He says he thinks he'll start peaking around January.
Yeah, he said it might take a year. I'm sure he'd like it to happen sooner than that. Offensive lock into the wind, and the wind held it up just right.
Right on the line. Deuce.
Pretty good lob over someone, offensive lob over someone who's as tall as Zivojinovic is.
But to be candid, Zivo's not the quickest guy around the court.
Couldn't be.
John McEnroe Sr.
Advantage Zivojinovic.
2 double faults by McEnroe.
Take another look at the quarter that McEnroe's in.
Ivan Lendl, the #1 seed, plays tonight. Garrett's already advanced to the 4th round. McEnroe playing right now. And don't forget Gomez.
Yeah, big hard serving left-hander with a big forehand. See, that's one of the things that John, I think, does not do nearly as well as he used to do, and that's make the good, crisp first volley. Much more careful, more tentative, and when you give good players more than one swing at you, oftentimes they're going to knock it past you, particularly on this kind of a court where you have good footing so you can get to the ball well. The ball sits up a little bit more. I attribute part of that to the loosely strung rackets that John uses. I understand he's moved the tension nuke up to around 50. He usually have down around 42 pounds tension, and that's like we used at St. Creek, you know, going for minnows, and he used it. And it's fine when you have the ball just where you want it, but if you have to kill speed, and that trampoline effect in that loosely strung racket can be a problem.
Wow.
How do you explain, Tony, that he was putting them away before with a real loose racket and not now? Is it a matter of confidence?
Well, I think it's definitely a matter of confidence. John just isn't playing as well, and how do you be bold and daring when you're not sure it's going to work? Tough first game. This is the 4th deuce already.
Advantage McEnroe.
It's another great lob.
Here you can take a close-up look at John McEnroe. Good footwork, getting back into position. The short preparation on the offensive lob. Now he goes in, really, he's got the lob over Zivo's head. Rack it up early and knocked off the smash. We come back to live action. Advantage McEnroe first game.
Well, that offensive lob was from way behind the baseline, too. It's a great touch.
Just out.
First game.
Tough first game, but McEnroe holds, and he leaves 1 love in the first. 8th-seeded John McEnroe won the first game with the first set. They're waiting for the crowd to settle.
Thank you.
We have a speed device, a speed gun, courtesy of the Tokyo Broadcasting System, and we'll be checking from time to time. Zivojinovic, a big server, how hard he actually is hitting the ball, we'll be checking. And he's not loose yet.
This big guy is the
15 low.
reigning U.S. Open doubles champion. Andres Gomez got to the semis last year, not this last one, but a year ago. Played a 5-setter against Lendl. He's really come along well.
On court 16, LeConte has beaten Odazar. He will now play Jimmy Connors.
Looks like LeConte is hit top form.
Wow, that's more than 108, I'll tell you that.
Say that again.
113.
Sure is. The victorious Mr. Connors looking on in the studio. Jimmy won in straight sets.
First service.
You know, Zivojinovic was down 2-0 in the last round against Brod Dyke from Australia, and then he won the last 3 sets, 6-1, 6-2, 6-love. So he must be in some pretty good form. Feeling confident after that match anyway.
He looks a little bit like Mark Bavaro, the tight end for the Giants.
Game Zivojinovic. 1 game all.